fuck it. Hey, my name's Joe, and you know me on YouTube as SurvivalBob. Hello Games, through a third party, reached out to SurvivalBob and many other creators with the idea of us making videos to celebrate No Man's Sky's 6th anniversary. And this is a game that has meant so much to me in so many ways that I didn't know another way to do this than what I'm doing here, which is giving you my personal journey and experience with the game and my life over the last few years as I've played the game. Now, luckily, it's exactly what they asked for. So, here we go. My personal journey and experience with No Man's Sky is intertwined with my YouTube journey and also intertwined with my real life and everything that was going on there. You see, I've had a rough couple of years, not as Bob, but as Joe. I lost my dad at the end of 2018, and on that same day, I became the primary caregiver for my mother, who has Alzheimer's and dementia. My dad had been caring for her for years, and I think, honestly, he just finally gave up. I just turned more and more inward and just tried to survive. I had to take care of my mom. I had to stay positive in front of my children. I had a business to run with 10 employees who had families to feed, and I just tried to get from moment to moment and not lose my mind. I escaped into video games like many of us do. It was my time to just stop being Joe and be SurvivalBob. SurvivalBob is the character that I create. It's what I named my guys that I played before YouTube. And Bob's a guy who's just happy to be there. He may mess up, but he's gonna have fun with it. And that's who I really wanted to be in my life. And I'm working to become that still to this day. Over the next year, things would change and unravel. My video game play would become unhealthy, and my relationship would become more and more strained. About a year after my father's death, I moved out and became separated from my wife and moved into my parents' home that looked like it could have been on an episode of Hoarders, and began to clean it out and make it livable for myself and my mom. I was lucky enough to be able to hire some help to come during the day to help me so that I could continue to work and do the things that I needed to do to provide monetarily for my family. About the same time, I started YouTube. Making content gave me a reason to play games, and it gave me a reason to stop playing games, which I mentioned had become unhealthy. What it forced me to do was stop playing the game, to take the video that I had just made and edit it so that I could get it out on YouTube. So that was a blessing. And nobody watched. None of you guys knew who I was because nobody searched random dude plays random game on YouTube. The first time I played No Man's Sky, I was hooked. You wake up alone on a strange planet with no memory of what happened to you before, no notion of what your life was like. All you knew was that you had to survive and escape. And then once you did that, you got the ability to explore a near infinite universe with 18 quintillion planets, according to the people who know how to count that high. And you can see things that nobody else has ever seen. You can name things for the very first time and put your mark on this game. The vastness of it and the emptiness of it and the openness of being able to choose whatever path you want really drew me. The idea of not remembering your life before and just being thrust into survive was where I was personally, and that resonated with me. I recorded that journey on my YouTube channel, and I had maybe 30 or 40 subscribers at the time. I played on Xbox, and maybe 10 to 12 people would watch each video that I posted. And as I posted videos and as I played more and more, the community started to come and draw me in. I started watching live streams of Zane and Sword, and I would see these guys doing these amazing things in No Man's Sky that I had no idea how to do, and watch them and watch how much fun they were having, and watch them interacting with their chats as they talked to each other, that obviously these guys had known each other for years and had built real friendships. This is the same time the pandemic was just coming into full force, and so I had been isolated from all of my friends. Seeing this sense of community that they had really stirred something inside me, and I wanted to become a part of it. As I learned and progressed through this game, I realized that I didn't want to just play alone anymore. I wanted to start having interactions with people, and I wanted to play. So in June of 2020, as I was a couple months into my No Man's Sky journey on Xbox, they added crossplay with PC and PlayStation so that Xbox, PC, and PlayStation could all play together for the very first time, which I thought was amazing. I had created a Discord for my YouTube channel that had, I don't know, 5 or 10 members of it maybe, and we decided that we were going to play together in a system and just not necessarily do everything together, but just be there and have a little bit of a sense of community, so we weren't in the vastness of No Man's Sky all by ourselves. Don't get me wrong, a lot of times I still want to go be by myself, so don't jump into my game just because you see I'm free. But at that time in my life, it really started bringing me out of my shell a little bit of isolation that I had been on. My YouTube videos started improving, and I started doing more and more with No Man's Sky in the community. We had a wonderful Discord member, Alex, who showed me how to scrap ships. It's something he had figured out. Well, I made a video outlining this, and this video blew up for me, and it really showed me for the first time that I could do something in my life creative with other people that I maybe had never even considered doing, which luckily coincided with the same time that my primary business, which was working in school systems, was being shut down because the pandemic shut down the schools. So that being closed at the time, making videos about No Man's Sky on YouTube was coming into fruition, really saved me in a lot of ways. I started to believe for the very first time that maybe I could be creative. I was told my whole life I wasn't creative. I was told I was a numbers guy. I was a financial advisor. But in YouTube, for the first time and through No Man's Sky, I was able to be creative and go in any direction I wanted. So seeing that I could make a living doing this, I dove into it full force. I continued to grow with the launch of Origins. Origins was an update that we got in 2020, and that is when my channel exploded. Origins was such a beautiful update and one of my favorites because it just took everything and made it better. It wasn't necessarily a lot of new content, it just took what they had and put a finer polish on it. They added planets to systems, so even if you'd been there forever, you could have new planets to explore. They also changed the way things look and made them a lot more vibrant and beautiful, and we just had a lot more fun rediscovering and exploring the game together, and it brought a lot of players back. And that's one of the nice things about No Man's Sky, is that each update that they have is free. Those free updates bring in new players. Those new players look for guides on how to play the game, and that's where I was able to help new players establish themselves in the game that I love so much and that had meant so much to me. Because No Man's Sky kept getting new content with Desolation, that gave us the freighters that are like dungeons that you can explore, and the creepiness in that. Continued updates like prisms that made it even more beautiful, as well as the addition of frontiers, which gave us towns to discover. All of these things kept the game fresh and gave us reasons to keep coming back. It also bound together a sense of community with the people in it. And the cool thing is, those people that I enjoyed watching, Zane and Sword and Jason and Captain Steve and BeebleBum, all of those creators that were doing this that I was learning from were becoming my friends because they saw that I was having fun and helping the community, and I saw that they were doing the same thing, and we just were naturally kind of drawn together. Those friendships that I've made with creators as well as viewers, subscribers, No Man's Sky fans has really carried me through the last couple of years that have been honestly pretty difficult for Joe. The reality of this community was made so evident to me in several things very recently. The first was I wanted to do a No Man's Sky live event. So I planned this event in Orlando, and I invited anyone and everyone who wanted to come to celebrate No Man's Sky, to just have fun and relax. We rented a huge space mansion. It was insane. And I had people from 17 years old to 71 or 2. I don't know, Kat, how old are you? These people came from all over the United States and Canada. And we got together, we celebrated No Man's Sky, we went to NASA. There was an expedition that dropped and Twitch drops during it, so I was live streaming from the mansion. It was crazy. but we made real connections in real life through friendships that had been made playing No Man's Sky. That was an amazing thing, and it really started to bring me out of the shell that I had created for myself as Joe, where I was just an online presence, and it showed me that we could do things in this real world. And I gotta thank No Man's Sky for giving us the platform to do that. I would have never done it otherwise. That event showed me that these connections we make online, even though we don't see each other in person, they're real connections. And the connections we make through playing this game and exploring, and building and crafting and fighting with each other, these are real connections that can carry on into the real world as well, which in a healthy way. After we came back from the expedition, we continued to get update after update from No Man's Sky with new content, with the Sentinel update, giving us new combat features and harder Sentinels to fight, and then new expeditions, as well as the Endurance update, which we just got recently, which updated freighters to make them just gorgeous and a lot more of a pleasure to build in, especially for somebody like me who is not great at the detailed work of decoration. So thanks for those models, Hello Games. I really do appreciate them. Fuck it. Over the last couple years, the one constant good thing in my life, aside from my children, has been No Man's Sky. The continued content updates kept me going, kept me striving, kept me wanting to make new content, kept bringing new people like you into the game that would discover my videos, and allow me to help them progress and entertain them as they went through the game. And that really keeps me going. The comments I get are amazing. Up to the point where, as I was struggling over the last few weeks, a couple weeks ago, I had to put my mother into hospice, which in the US, if you're not familiar, is end of life care. It basically means there's nothing else we can do for them. So we're just going to make them comfortable. So placing my mother in hospice a few weeks ago, and all of the burdens that had been placed on me personally, Joe, that I had not been able to escape and to be SurvivalBob as much as I wanted to. Because I cared so much about the viewers, I wanted to let them know where I was. So I put a post up on YouTube a few days ago, kind of explaining the situation. I don't normally share a whole lot about myself, but here we are. And the outpouring of support through the comments and through the DMs and the tweets and the text messages from a few of you who have my number has been just, it's overwhelming. It really is. This community and what it has been built around really has rallied behind and really helped me realize that I'm not alone in this. A lot of you guys expressed comments in the comment section that you've struggled with similar things or had to deal with this with a loved one, and just knowing that I'm not alone and knowing that you guys are here and you guys have told me, deal with your life, we'll be here when you come back, it meant the world to me. And I can't say thank you enough for that. And that would not have been possible without No Man's Sky being the vehicle on the platform of YouTube that I've used to connect with so many of you people. You're not allowed to say you people, are you? You YouTube people. You know what I mean. I know this is a little deeper than you're used to with SurvivalBob because you're getting Joe more than Bob today, but I wanted to let you guys know what it meant to me personally, because that's what they asked for. And it's a little self-serving and cathartic for me to go through this, maybe. So thank you, Sean Murray, the team at Hello Games, those of you who I don't know, who work the Zendesk and fix the problems, everybody who has anything to do with this game, from the viewers, the new players, you guys out on Twitter. Without No Man's Sky and all of the constant updates that it's had, keeping me coming back to the game, keeping me engaged with the community, keeping me growing as a person and YouTube creator, meeting new people, making new friends. I don't know where I would have been personally, and I don't want to think about it, quite honestly. All I can do is say thank you. Thank you to the team at Hello Games. Thank you to Sean for continuing to believe in this game and to push this game out with free updates. Thank you to everybody involved. Sylvia, Jason, Beeblebum, Zane, the core group of creators, Hawks Gaming. My God, Hawks has been there for me thick and thin. A YouTube creator for No Man's Sky and other space games. Just an amazing guy and friend. None of these people I would have met if it wasn't for playing No Man's Sky and creating content and the encouragement that you guys have given me. So for all of those things, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart as Joe, the person who makes SurvivalBob and makes the content that you guys have enjoyed over the last couple years. Thank you so much. And remember, if you're going to be a Bob, have fun with it.